Previous lesson, moving charges and magnetism, we have discussed about the magnetic properties of the materials on the basis of charges inside it. Whenever an electric field is flowing through a conducting medium, alternatively, there is a possibility for the production of magnetic field. That was the previous lesson. We have discussed about the only charge oriented magnetic fields. But in this lesson, the title of the lesson says that magnetism and matter. That means the materials which exhibits the magnetic properties and magnetic behavior and the classification of those materials. This lesson discusses about these things. The first, the main discovery, magnetism, it is a property or behavior of a matter or a material. Magnetic material or magnetic behavior is common to all. Magnetic behavior is common to all matter. Whatever may be the state of matter, this behavior is common. Whether you observe the galaxies, earth, metals, clouds full of water, these are all the main examples for the observation of magnetic behavior in the universe with respect to the content of the matter. The discovery of this concept or the discovery of magnetic behavior was an accidental invention by a shepherd. Accidental invention by a shepherd. There is an island in Greece named Magnesia. It's an island in Greece. When a shepherd bringing his goats or sheep to this island, his shoes, which are made up of iron or any metal, was struck to the ground. Not only his shoes, not only his footwear was struck to the ground when he went to the island named Magnesia in the Greece. He wore the chappals or he wore the shoes with iron nails or metal nails or any metal nails. These were also struck to the ground when he went to this island. So then the island's name is Magnesia. From there onwards, the property or the behavior of those materials which are exhibiting this characteristics is called magnetism or magnetic behavior. Next, this magnetic behavior was useful for sailors. It was useful. Generally, the commercial exploitation of this concept was done by Chinese since date 400 BC. Chinese. Of course, the shepherd was discovered this magnetic behavior. He don't know because maybe the lack of knowledge of him. But whenever the public or the Chinese wise people came to know about this magnetic behavior, they did the commercial business with this behavior. I mean, they prepared the magnet from the rock where they found the magnetic materials. And this magnetic behavior was useful in the sailing also. Ancient days, the sailors will used to use the index, which shows the Earth's magnetic field. A thin iron sheet, an iron arrow marked needle like this. which was freely suspended in air. Freely suspension, it was freely suspended. And this aeromark, which was made up of the magnetic material like iron or magnetite. Whenever the needle which is made up of iron or magnetite, which shows the magnetic behavior, when it is freely suspended, it shows the geographic north pole or south pole. Geographical north pole or south pole. When it is showing the geographical north pole or south pole, the sailors, what they are using, so well they are going to any particular direction. If their direction is wrong with respect to the direction showed by this needle, like this side or like this type, then they used to turn their ships towards their destination. They used to find out their correct destination route with the help of this magnetic behavior. So this commercial exploitation was started by the Chinese sailors. So next, what we can understand from this concept is, and we can say that this was called magnetic compass box. Or compass needle or box. The box is surrounded by which is coated with the glass inside magnetic compass needle and surrounded by a plastic dome. The another example of this magnetic behavior of a matter is lodestone. The other name of this one is alum. ALUM. Yes, we know this alum or lodestone, which attracts the impurities in the mud water. Attracts. This loading is one of the method to purify the liquids or the mud water. So whenever a glass filled with some mud water like this, whenever you drop the alum, then all mud will attract towards it. After some time, we can remove this alum. Then this is loading, it's a lodestone, which is made up of iron and magnetite, alloy of iron and magnetite. Alloy of iron and magnetite. Alloy means mixing of two or more metals. Two metals are compulsory. So iron and magnetite was mixed together. Alum or lodestone will be created, will be formed. And this one, when it is dropped in the mud water, it is usually absorbs all the mud particles, especially the mud particles which are very difficult to filter. By using this magnetic power, we can attract it, and after the whole thing was finished, then we can remove this alum, then this water will be purified. If you are not satisfied with the purity of the content, then you can boil it and drink it whenever it is there in a lukewarm state. So like this magnetism concept was useful in our daily applications. The first Chinese sailors used this one, and they posed one diagram by showing the hand like this on the railway track. This hand, a statue which is made like this, and the hand direction shows the direction of the magnetic field. And this hand is stretched like this, and this hand shows the direction of the electric field. Like that, magnetic field and electric field, they both are mutually perpendicular to each other. This is the initial thinking by the Chinese commercial sailors and the Chinese commercial market inventors. Now we will see the generalized views about this magnetism. There are some common ideas about the magnetism. Suppose Earth is a magnet. It is not suppose, it's true. The behavior of the magnetism of Earth is due to the dynamo effect. We will discuss this further. So Earth is a magnet and behaving like a magnet. Behaving like a magnet. Mostly it shows the direction of magnetic field from north to south. The line of magnetism of Earth joins from south to north. How can you understand the north pole and south pole of the magnet with respect to the Earth? For that purpose, we should suspend a bar magnet, or we should suspend a magnetic compass needle freely suspended. Bar magnet or compass needle. These are the two important points. Whenever the freely suspended bar magnet or compass needle like this, it shows like this. Or we can say a bar magnet. Suppose if this is the north and south, for which point the north pole of the magnet is nearer, that is said to be geographic north pole or geometrical north pole. Or geographical north pole. North pole. If you see the south, where, for which point, for towards which point the south pole of the bar magnet shifts, that is said to be geographical south pole of the Earth. So geographical north pole and geographical south pole, where this north and south places with respect to the Earth's magnetic axis. There is a repulsive force between similar poles of the magnet. Repulsive force between similar poles of the magnet. Conversely, attractive force between dissimilar poles. Attraction force between dissimilar poles. These points are also one of the common introduction to about the magnetism. And one more, if you see from the order, maybe it is a fourth point. If this is the case, the fourth point we can say that suppose every bar magnet, it has north pole and south pole. It is very difficult or impossible to get a mono north pole or mono south pole. Means monopoly is not exist in the magnetism. Suppose the explanation for this concept will be like this. Suppose it is a bar magnet of finite width having north and south poles. This bar magnet has north and south poles. Two poles should be there, and from north to south magnetic field will align. Accidentally, if this magnet broken into two pieces, each piece will act as a magnet, but with weak strength when compared to the initial stage. Weak strength. Weak strength means weak in the magnetic behavior, because the original property of the magnet was removed when it is broken into pieces. So this will behave one north and south, and this will behave in north and south, because we know that at the middle of the magnet field will not exist, zero. At the middle exactly it was broken means this strong field, and this will become the lowest field when compared to this pole, and this pole will act as the lowest from this pole. Like this, north and south will divide it. So when compared to the electricity, this is one of the different point or unlike point in the magnetism. In electricity, monopoly exists. Single charge will exist. Single positive charge or single negative charge. But in magnetism, magnetic monopole does not exist. Magnetic monopole does not exist. This point we should note in the magnetism. This is one of the unique behavior of the magnetism. And this magnetic behavior we can remove from the iron and its alloys. So iron and its alloys, when we mix together, it will form a magnet. Mostly the chromium, cobalt, iron, these three are the most general metals which can be used to manufacture the magnets. But we can remove these magnetic materials, magnetic properties from these metals. This is the basic introduction about the generalized concept of magnetism. Next we will see the structure of bar magnet. Yeah, bar magnet. What is the meaning of bar magnet? Yes, a rectangular shaped magnet which has north and south poles, where its length is much greater than breadth. Yeah, this is the direction of length, this is the direction of breadth. And one more thing, what we can understand is what is the use of this bar magnet. In this bar magnet, it is very easy to understand the alignment of the magnetic fields. Alignment of magnetic fields. In childhood, we will see some iron filling powders. Yeah, we were seeing these iron fillings. So we are taking one cardboard, on that these iron fillings are sprinkled randomly. Random. Yeah, it was a cardboard or a paper. Whenever this bar magnet placed down of this cardboard like this, or a paper which is used to collect the iron fillings, then we can see the perfect alignment of the iron fillings like this. North to south. This was a iron filling powder which was collected on a cardboard or a paper. Whenever this magnet was introduced just below it, with respect to the north and south alignment, these iron fillings are also aligned in the north and south directions. So like this, we can easily understand the alignment of magnetic fields with respect to the bar magnet. So when you place the bar magnet, the direction of the alignment is different. When you place a solenoid, the direction of the alignment is different. When you place these iron fillings in an electric field, its alignment is different. Now we will see what is this difference and how they will align with the arrow marks. Now we will see with respect to the bar magnet, what about the field lines. Yes, this is the bar magnet. North and south poles. As usual, field lines always travels from north to south. Here also. and we can expect the field lines emits like this. And it is a perfect loop of a Gaussian surface. So from north to south, we can expect the field lines are aligning like this, and we can assume the Gaussian surface above top and bottom, and like this also. This is magnetic field lines due to a bar magnet. Not only this, if you observe the magnetic field lines due to an electric current carrying conductor or a solenoid, it will be in different style. The current carrying solenoid, it is like this. The magnetic field lines in the current carrying solenoid will be like this. North and south poles. North and south poles. North and south poles, north and south pole, and we can increase the occupancy like this. And the field lines will pass like this. And this is the axis of the magnetic field, and here also we can expect the axis of the magnetic field exactly from the middle. So we can expect a Gaussian surface on the top and bottom of the solenoid. So this is magnetic field lines. The Gaussian surface won't be perfect. Field lines due to a current carrying solenoid. This was the one of the important point. Always aligns from north to south. Now we will see the magnetic field lines due to the electric dipoles. It's not due to the bar magnet. When if it is a bar magnet, we can say that north and south poles. But due to the electric dipoles, we should say positive to negative. So electric dipole, which always gives the infinite width of the field lines. Because of that, if this is the positive charge from the center to center, like this, we can expect the field lines. And like this also. But if you see what about the direction of the magnetic fields, it will be compressed like this. So like this. Field lines will be outwards, but the magnetic field will be inwards, which are perpendicular in nature. Here it is from positive to negative. It is very difficult to get the Gaussian surface in this. Because in electric dipoles, charge always goes to the infinite distances until and unless if the opposite charge is not present in that manner, in that direction, very difficult to get the Gaussian surface. So that's why we are not assuming the Gaussian surface in case of electric dipoles. If this is the case, there are some properties for the magnetic field lines. Now we discussed about the magnetic field lines due to the Gaussian surface of the electric dipole, magnetic field lines due to the current carrying solenoid, magnetic fields are due to the another material, nothing but a bar magnet. The lines are almost similar. Structure is similar. Because the structures are similar, then we can expect the magnetic field is always uniform. What are the properties of the magnetic field lines? Magnetic field lines. The first property is magnetic field lines are always closed loops. These are all closed loops. Why? Because closed loops, yes, the field should be closed from North Pole to South Pole. It is the unique behavior of the magnetic field. In case of electric fields, if a positive charge is existed, it will go to the infinite distance to reach the negative charge, to reach the opposite charge. That's why in electric potential definition we are saying the amount of work done in bringing a charge from infinity to a particular known point, because electric field lines have the tendency to travel infinite distances. But magnetic fields not like that. Whenever the magnetic field lines are traveling to the infinite width, their strength is going to be weak, and at some times the field lines won't intersect also, it will be scattered like this. In tan A and tan B positions of the magnetic field, we can expect these type of lines. This is one of the unique point of the magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines, we can say they are the closed loops. The tangent of any line always gives the direction of magnetic field at that point. Suppose if I wrote the tangent like this or like this, from this point the field direction is like this. This is the tangent. The tangent on any magnetic field line at any point will give the direction of the magnetic field at that point. Tangent. There are two more properties for the magnetic field lines. Two more. So what are those? If the number of magnetic field lines that are passing through unit surface area is more, then we can say the magnetic field strength is strong. The number of magnetic field lines that are crossing per unit area is more than the magnetic field strength is strong. The strength of the magnetic field. Magnetic field is strong. So if the strength is increases, magnetic flux will increase, because field lines passing through the unit surface area is said to be flux. This point should be important. The last one, the fourth one, this is the third one, two more means the third one. Fourth one is magnetic field lines won't intersect with each other. Won't intersect with each other. If they intersect, the field won't be uniform. So these are the four important points where we can understand about the magnetic field lines. So now we will see the similarities between the bar magnet as solenoid. A bar magnet as equivalent solenoid. Bar magnet means, yes, a rectangular shaped magnet of north and south poles which are separated at finite distances. Solenoid means a rod on it a wire is wounded like this. Like this. So we can expect the dotted lines like this. It has a magnetic field strength M is equal to NIA. What is this N? Total number of turns. I, current. A, area. Small n means number of turns per unit length. So why we are discussing, in the bar magnet the field at the middle is 0 and at the remaining parts we can expect the field in a finite order. Each piece of a bar magnet acts as a magnet, such like that in a solenoid each piece will act as a turn. A turn will act as a piece of magnet. If the force n number of turns are there, each turn will act as a magnet. So that's why the cylindrical shaped solenoid is similar to the bar magnet. Now we will see the equation part due to this comparison. Now we will take a finite length of the magnetic solenoid. Yes, this is the solenoidal structure. So in this structure, yes, this is the magnetic axis and we are taking this as an exact middle. We will take a small element of the turn, a small element. This element's width is dx. This element of the turn, this is nothing but the element of the turn. And this is at a distance of x from the middle of the solenoid. From here to here the length is L. The total distance is 2L. Yes, this is a width of A. Let us take a point P which is at a distance of R from the middle of the solenoid. Now we are going to find out the magnetic field strength at this point P due to this solenoid of this element of the turn. So when you compare this one with the bar magnet, we will get the part of equation. So now we will see the magnetic field due to this circular element at this point P is called dB. This dB is equal to mu naught Ni a square by 2 into r minus x whole square plus a square whole power 3 by 2. This n is the number of turns per unit length, I is the current passing through it, A is the aperture of the solenoid, so r is the distance of this point from the middle of the solenoid, x is the distance of the circular element of the turn, A is the aperture. So we can say that r minus x whole square is equal to r square, and r square is much greater than a square, then r square plus a square is approximately equal to r square. So In this case, we can say that dx is one of the important one, because dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into dx. That's why we can add multiply with dx also. So total magnetic field is equal to integral dB. So integral dB is equal to what we can write, mu naught Ni a square by 2 into r minus x whole square plus a square whole power 3 by 2 into integral dx. Integral dx means it is minus L to plus L. Now we will find out the magnetic momentum of the solenoid. So in this case, this equation will turn like this, mu naught Ni a square by 2. This will be r minus x. We have discussed that r minus x whole square is similarly equal to r square, and r square is much greater than a square. Because of these two conditions, we are substituting r square here, r square whole power 3 by 2 r cube. So it is r cube integral dx from minus L to plus L. If this is the case, B is equal to mu naught Ni a square by 2r cube integral x from minus L to plus L. B is equal to mu naught Ni a square by 2r cube. This is 2L, because x, L, upper limit minus lower limit, L plus L, 2L. So see this one, n into 2L into pi a square is equal to magnetic moment. We know that n into 2L into pi a square is equal to m, where m is equal to magnetic moment. So which term is missing in the numerator? Pi. So we will multiply with pi, divide with pi. So B is equal to mu naught Ni pi a square 2L by 2 pi r cube. So mu naught Ni pi square, n into pi a square into 2L is equal to m. So we can say that n into I into pi a square into 2L by 2 pi r cube, mu naught by 2 pi into m by r cube. But the constant in the magnetic field is mu naught by 4 pi. It's not mu naught by 2 pi. So for that purpose, we are multiplying and dividing with 2. So multiplying and dividing with 2. So you will get B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube. This point is very, very important. So this is the total magnetic moment of a solenoid. This integral part is the magnetic moment for a single turn of the solenoid. This is for the total length of the solenoid. The same expression in the previous chapter we got for a bar magnet. So for that we can say that bar magnet is equivalent to solenoid. In case of solenoid, we can expect the magnetic field in turns like this. Solenoid. But in case of bar magnet, yes, this is the magnetic field lines. So from the center, like this, and this is making an angle theta with respect to the actual geometrical north pole, north or south, and here also some declination. So like this in the bar magnet. So no position is straight in the case of bar magnet, somewhat tilt will be there like this. So we will see the inclination and declination of the magnetic field lines with respect to the geographical field lines. Now we will see a dipole which is placed in the uniform magnetic field and how much torque it is experiencing. Dipole in uniform magnetic field. Whenever a dipole placed in a magnetic field or electric field, it constitutes a torque, because dipole means two charges, opposite in nature, same in magnitude. Placed in the field, it experiences force of attraction as well as force of repulsion as a counterpart. Two forces act, one force will act upward, one force will act downward like this. There is a tilt in the object. So because of that, what we can understand is the two magnetic forces or two electrostatic forces on either ends of a body acts at the same time with same magnitude but in opposite direction, constitutes a torque. This torque is also called moment of force. The symbol of the torque is tau. As we seen in the moving charges and magnetism, the torque experienced by a dipole in magnetic field is M cross B. So the cross product is MB sin theta. Tau is equal to. But the torque we can define as rate of change in angular momentum. Torque is equal to rate of change in angular momentum. So we can write tau is equal to dl by dt, but L is equal to I omega. So tau is equal to d by dt of I omega, where I is constant, d omega by dt. Here tau is in the terms of theta, so we should write this I into d omega by dt also in terms of theta, then we can equate. But for the sign convention, it will be minus mb sin theta, because the magnetic field and electrostatic field both are perpendicular to each other. So we can write tau is equal to I into d square theta by dt square. Why? Omega is equal to d theta by dt. So d omega by dt is equal to d by dt of d theta by dt. That's why we are getting d square theta by dt square. For small angles, sin theta is approximately equal to theta. So therefore, tau will become minus mb theta. We got tau is equal to I into d square theta by dt square, and we got tau is equal to minus mb theta. If we equated the both, we will get the equation for the theta and B. So we have seen tau is equal to I into d square theta by dt square, as well as tau is equal to minus mb theta. If this is the case, we are equating the both equations. I dot d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb theta. Both the ends it is in the terms of theta. So we can write d square theta by dt square is equal to minus mb by I theta. So if you see the differential form of the simple harmonic motion, this will be equal to omega square theta. Therefore, d square theta by dt square is equal to minus omega square theta. So comparison, omega square is equal to mb by I. Omega is equal to under root mb by I. So therefore, time period t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So we can write t is equal to 2 pi by omega means under root mb by I. So 2 pi into under root I by mb is equal to t. If we square on both sides, we will get the equation for the b also. So continue. So squaring on both sides. So we can write t square is equal to 4 pi square into I by mb. So b is equal to 4 pi square into I by mt square. This point is very, very important. This is the expression for the magnetic field strength with respect to this dipole. It is due to 4 pi square into I by mt square. The same expression we will get for the potential energy of the magnetic dipole. Yeah, the potential energy of the dipole symbol is U, integral tau of theta d theta. So it will be mb sin theta d theta. So you will get minus mb cos theta, you will get minus m dot b. In case of electrostatic fields, tau is equal to p cross e and u is equal to pe cos theta. So such like that here also, in place of p we are substituting m, in place of e we are getting b. So the sin theta cos theta, because both are perpendicular to each other. So this concept is useful like this. Now we will see the problems based on these two concepts. Now we will see a problem which is based on the magnetic field concept. The content of the problem is like this. The magnetic needle has magnetic moment 6.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 am square. That means we will write the values. M is equal to 6.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 am square. And moment of inertia I is equal to 7.5 into 10 to the power of minus 6 kg meter square. It performs 10 complete oscillations in 6.70 seconds. So time taken for 10 oscillations is 6.70 seconds. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field? B we should find out. Like this we should divide the values. So in case, what is the solution of this problem? For 10 complete oscillations, time taken is 6.7. What about the one complete oscillation? Nothing but the time period. Time period is equal to 6.7 by 10. Time period of oscillation is t is equal to 6.70 by 10, we will get 0.67 seconds. So if this is the time period, so magnetic field B is equal to 4 pi square I by mbt square. This is the expression for the magnetic field. So 4 pi square means 3.14 whole square, where I is equal to 7.5 10 to the power of minus 6 ampere per meter square, kg meter square, where m is equal to 6.7 into 10 to the power of minus 2 am square, where time is equal to 0.67 seconds whole square. So if we calculate the both magnetic field, we will get 0.01 Tesla. The symbol of the Tesla is capital T. This is one of the problem which is based on the concepts of this internal energies and torque, which is in the magnetism. So the content is the short bar magnet placed with its axis at 30 degrees with an external field of 800 Gauss, where G is equal to Gauss, 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla, experiences a torque of 0.0916 Nm. A bit, what is the magnetic moment of the magnet? B bit, what is the work done in moving from its most unstable position? The bar magnet is replaced by the solenoid of cross-sectional area 2 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meters square and 1000 turns, but of the same magnetic moment. Determine the current flowing through the solenoid. If you see this B bit, what is the work done to move this one from most stable to most unstable? So if this is the content, we should do the one by one. So what we should write? External field, the magnetic field is 800 Gauss. That means 800 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Torque 0.016 Nm. First bit, what is the magnetic moment of the magnet? We should find out M is how much. So we will see the first bit. We know that tau is equal to mb sin theta. M is equal to tau by b sin theta. Torque is 0.016 Nm. B is 800 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Theta is 30 degrees, so sin 30 is half. So 2, it is 400. 400 into 10 to the power of minus 4 goes up plus 4. So therefore, M is equal to 0.016 into 10 to the power of 4. We will get into 10, 0.16 into 100, 1.6 into 1000, 16 into 10,000, 160. So 10 to the power of 4 is 10,000. We will get 160. 160 by 400. So we will see tau is equal to mb sin theta. M is equal to tau by b sin theta. So magnetic moment M is equal to tau means 0.016. B is 800 Gauss, means 800 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Theta is 30 degrees, sin 30 is half. It will be 400. This 10 power minus 4 goes up, 10 power plus 4. So we will get 160 by 400 is equal to m. 16 by 40 we will get 0.40. So therefore magnetic momentum is equal to 0.40 am square. This is the answer of the first bit. To see the second bit, we should find out the work done in moving this magnetic dipole from its stable position to most unstable position. So stable position means 0. So cos 0 to unstable position means exactly phase shift, cos 180. So we will get work done is equal to UB at cos 180 degrees minus UB at cos 0 degrees. So we will get 2 MB. Work done is equal to 2 into, where M is equal to 0.40, where B is equal to 800 into 10 to the power of minus 4. So we will get 0.064 joules. The third bit is we should find out the current passing through that. So we get now MS is equal to NIA. If it is replaced by a solenoid of area of cross section different wide, so we will get the answer I is equal to MS by NA. What is this MS? Magnetic momentum of a solenoid. So MS is magnetic momentum of a solenoid. It is 0.40 into 10 to the power of 4. N is number of turns 1000. So area of cross section is 2. So it is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 4. This minus 4 goes up. So initially this is the step. So I is equal to, this minus 4 goes up, 0.40 into 10 to the power of 4 by 1000 into 2. So we will get 10. So 10 into this one, 4 by 2, 2 amperes. Like this, we can divide the problems with their solutions. Now we will see the dipole analogy, or the comparison of electric field analog to magnetic field. So what we can understand in this concept is there is some similarities, means seems to be same in some content with electric field and magnetic field. So if you see the analogy E to B, in electric field it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, but in magnetic field mu naught by 4 pi. By this analogy we can find out the speed of the electromagnetic wave also. Speed of the EM wave. So if this is the case, magnetic field at equatorial plane is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into m by r cube. But in case of magnetic field at axial line is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube. At the same time, electric when with respect to the electric dipole, same you will get equatorial plane, we will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into some p by r cube. Here it is 2p by r cube. Now we will see the analogy of these dipoles with respect to the content. So now we will see the dipole analogy. If this is the case, so we will see in electrostatics, magnetostatics. So the symbol in the electrostatics is common 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Magnetostatics mu naught by 4 pi. Dipole moment first point. So if you see the dipole moment, in case of electrostatics, it is represented by P. In case of magnetostatics, it is represented by M, magnetic dipole moment. So electric field at equatorial plane, with respect to the dipole. In case of electrostatics, it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into P by R cube. Magnetostatics, mu naught by 4 pi into M by R cube. At equatorial or axial line, axial point, same magnetic field dipole momentum. It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught to 2 P by R cube. Here it is mu naught by 4 pi into 2 M by R cube. So the external source energy is there, momentum is also there. So in case of external field, torque, first one is torque. In electrostatics, it is represented by P cross E. In magnetostatics, it is represented by M cross B. See the comparison. Means the formular structure seems to be same. In case of dipole momentum of electric, it is represented by the magnetic field momentum. In case of electric field strength, it is represented by magnetic field strength, that is replacing. Means the same natured physical quantities are replaced in the two fields, that is said to be the analogy. So the same next one, external field energy. So in this case, what we can understand, energy, here it is P dot E minus P dot E cos theta. Here it is minus M dot P. So like this, in place of P replaced by M in magnetic field, in place of E replaced by B, in place of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it is replaced by mu naught by 4P. So 4 pi. So like this, we can see the analogy with compared to the electric field and magnetic fields. This is the problem which is related to the magnetic field due to the dipole at equatorial and axial line points. What is the magnitude of the equatorial and axial fields due to bar magnet of length 8 cm at a distance of 50 cm from its midpoint? So the magnetic moment of the bar magnet is 0.40 am square. So magnetic field due to equatorial point is mu naught by 4 pi into M by R cube. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. 4 pi get cancelled. This whole will become 10 to the power of minus 7. So the M is 0.40. R cube is 0.5 whole cube because it is 50 centimeters. So 50 into 10 to the power of minus 2 whole cube. So 50 into 50 into 50 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So you will get 0.5 whole cube. So we will get this will be some 10 to the power of minus 7 into 0.40 by. So 0.5 5s are 25, 25 5s are 125. So it will be 0.125. So we will get the answer 3.2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. Like that. Magnetic field at axial point. So the axial point is mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube. So already mu naught by 4 pi into m by r cube is 3.2 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla into 2. So we can write BA is equal to 2 into BA. So therefore 2 into, what is the BA answer? 3.2 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. So we will get 6.4 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. So this is the magnetic field due to the dipole at equatorial plane. This is at the axial point. The next concept is Gauss law in magnetism. Gauss law in electrostatics we have discussed E dot ds cos theta. But what about the Gauss law in magnetism? In case of electrostatics, electric field lines are infinite nature to travel. But in case of magnetic field, field lines are closed loops. So within a closed loop, the total displacement is 0. So with respect to that, Mr. Gauss discovered B, it's a magnetic field, and he considered one plane like this. So if this is the plane, so like this we have discussed one lighter area. We took one small element of the surface, this element is ds, and this is the B, this is the ds. So magnetic field lines and the surface, they both are perpendicular to each other, therefore phi b, nothing but the magnetic flux, is equal to B dot ds. What is magnetic flux first of all? Like electric flux only, the number of magnetic field lines that are passing through unit surface area of the conductor is called magnetic flux. So magnetic field lines that are passing through unit surface area of the conductor or surface material is called magnetic flux. It's called magnetic flux. The symbol is phi b, as we mentioned earlier. So field lines are strength of the magnetic field in unit surface area. But if these are in a closed loop, it is 0. So that's why B dot ds is equal to phi b is equal to B ds cos theta. So therefore summation over phi b is equal to 0. We can understand this concept with electrical analogy also, because E is perpendicular to B. Where electric field lines are parallel to the plane, so cos 0 is 1. But magnetic field lines are perpendicular to the plane with respect to the propagation of electric field lines. So that's why summation over magnetic flux is 0 throughout a surface area. With this concept, Mr. Gauss proved that monopoles in the magnetism not exist. Monopole in magnetism not exist. But in case of electric fields, monopoly existed until and unless an opposite charge is placed in a finite distance. Now we will discuss about the Earth's magnetism, means magnetic behavior of the Earth. Ancient days, the magnetic behavior of Earth is due to many other reasons. The people thought like that. means something hidden in the inside the earth, it is attracting the all other earth particles, or some magnetic dipoles or monopoles are existed inside the depth of the earth, that's why it is behaving as a magnetic behavior. And one more thing, many metals are there under beneath of the earth's crust, so that's why these metals behaves like a magnet, that's why earth is also behaving like a magnet. Many thinkings are there, many assumptions are there about the magnetic behavior of the earth, but it may be true or may not be true. The correct explanation about the magnetic behavior of earth is dynamo effect. What is the dynamo effect? Yes, under beneath of the earth it contains metals like iron, copper, cobalt, nickel, etc., etc. Many metals are there. Earth is giving many metals, producing many metals. They are hidden. They are available in liquid state under beneath. The liquid forms of these metallic fluids are flowing from one end of the earth to another end of the earth in under beneath part. That's why it is said to be metallic fluids. Which are in a liquid state. These metals are in a liquid state. The current of the metallic fluid, current means nothing but the flow. The current of the metallic fluids under beneath of the earth causes to the magnetic behavior of the earth. The current of the metallic fluids which are under beneath of earth is called dynamo effect. This dynamo effect, this is the reason for the actual magnetic behavior of the earth. But if you see a freely suspended bar magnet or a compass needle, that needle won't merging with the earth's axis of the magnetic field. They are slightly away from the earth's magnetic field. We will see what is the reason of that. So the order of the magnetic field strength of the earth is 10.-5 Tesla. The order of earth's magnetic field strength. This is the question. But if you see the magnetic dipole, means north and south poles, the dipole rotation is not merging with the actual line which joins the geographical north and south poles. It will be like this. Suppose if this is the globe, this is the vertical axis which represents the north and south poles. Magnetic compass needle always be like this. Freely suspended. This NS is the geographical axis. This compass box is the magnetic dipole axis. There is always a separation between these poles and these poles. The separation is approximately equal to 11.3 degrees. It is not exactly merging with the north and south poles of the geology. So in this case, the location of the north pole of earth is some 79.74 north and 71.8 degrees west at the latitude and altitude. This is the latitude. This is the altitude. This is the location of the North Pole. And what is the location of the South Pole? We should go to the South Pole, somewhere at Canada. So the location of South Pole is same exactly, 9.74 south degrees south and 108.22 degrees east. This is at Canada. This is at Antarctica. So like this, exactly 90 degrees to there is a variation of 11.3 degrees from the magnetic dipole axis to the Earth's dipole axis. It is not completely merging. So if you see the diagram, if this is the globe, which is in a spherical shape, to see it clearly. This is geographical North Pole. This is geographical South Pole, SG. So this is the point of suspension. This is theta. So NG is equal to geographical North Pole. SG is equal to same geographical South Pole. And one more thing we can discuss this. This is the angle difference, because what is the need and why this North Pole of the magnet is not interacting or merging with the geographical North Pole? Because there is a force of repulsion, because these two are north and north and these two are south and south. So that's why some angle of deviation or declination will be there between the two poles of Earth and magnet. So this is North Pole of the magnet, and this is, we can extend this one, South Pole of the magnet. NM, North Pole of magnet. This SM, South Pole of the magnet. This theta will be approximately 11.3 degrees angle of declination. So if you want to see this, this is the geographical equator. This is the magnetic equator. GM. So the pole or the pole of the magnet which is near to the geographical North Pole is North Magnetic Fold. The pole which is near to the geographical South Pole is called South Magnetic Pole. In other words, this is called North Seeking Pole, this is called South Seeking Pole. So, what is the exact location of the North Pole or South Pole of the magnet? North Pole of the magnet is near to the geographical North Pole of the Earth. South Pole of the magnet is near to the South Pole of the geographical Earth. These other names are called North Seeking Pole and South Seeking Pole. So, this is the problem based on the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field at the equator is approximately 0.4 G, means 0.4 and 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Estimate the Earth's dipole moment. So, the formula is B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into M by R cube. So, we should find out M, Earth's dipole moment. So, M is equal to BR cube by mu naught by 4 pi. Yeah, we know the B. So, the B value is 0.4 G, means 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. R is radius of the earth. It is 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 meters. Cube is there, that's why we are applying the cube again. Mu naught by 4 pi, it is nothing but 10 power minus 7. So if you substitute all the values, we will get Earth's dipole moment 1.05 into 10 to the power of 23 ampere meter square. So like this is the Earth's dipole moment. This value is close to 8 into 10 to the power of 22 am square. That means 0.8 into 10 to the power of 23 as the order am square. So this value is close to the value which we got in the problem, is close to the actual value of the geographic or Earth's dipole moment. That's why these values will exist in the geographic note. Now we are going to discuss about magnetic declination and dip. Previously we have seen what is the direction of the geographic north and south poles and what is the direction of magnetic north and south poles. So it will be like this. Suppose we are considering Earth as a sphere, a spherical surface. Yeah, it has a own rotatory axis while it is rotating and precesses themselves and itself. So it is like this. So sphere is a 3D shape. So it is very difficult to join that on a 2D board. That's why we will get a 2D shape of the Earth. So it is a sphere. It has one rotatory axis. But if you see the global structure of the Earth, we know that this is east, this is west, this is north, this is south. There is a line which joins the geographic north and south poles, or geographic north direction and south direction is called geographic meridian. The line which joins the Earth's north and south pole is called geographic meridian. So this geographic meridian which joins the north and south poles of the Earth, this one. So we can write this one as G. But if you see the direction of the magnetic field, yes, it will be like this. Previously we have discussed about a freely suspended bar magnet or a freely suspended solenoid. When it is freely suspended under the influence of Earth's gravitational field. Yes, this is the north pole of the magnet, this is the south pole of the magnet. There is a line which joins the north pole and south pole of the magnet. This line which joins the north pole and south pole of the magnet, it is called magnetic meridian. So we can write this one as M. Magnetic meridian. So it is the line which joins the north and south poles of a magnet, which joins the north and south pole of the magnet. Whenever a bar magnet freely suspended, it shows the exhibition of magnetic field like this. We know the Force of repulsion is the reason for this small deviation of the actual north pole of the magnet with respect to the Earth's north pole and actual south pole of the magnet with respect to the south pole of the Earth, because force of repulsion is taken place between these two similar poles of Earth and magnet respectively. So this magnetic field or magnetic meridian line is making an angle with respect to the vertical axis of the Earth's or geographic meridian. So this one is making an angle with this north and south poles of the Earth. This is said to be angle of declination. So this one, where D is equal to angle of declination. This is also called magnetic declination or simply declination. So D is called magnetic declination or simply declination.